Hey, welcome to Pass or Play, the invitation review. So I will have to say that I actually like this movie. It's a play for me. I will say that it doesn't really have horror. It has like elements of vampire gore and blood and relating to vampire kind of tropes in the film. It's more like a mystery thriller than it is like vampire horror, per se. It also has like a really dark kind of backdrop tone. A lot of it's happening like in this kind of dark castle, so you see stuff. But it's like if you saw Nope with how the night is really lit up. It's not as lit up in this film, but it's in the vein of it really kind of all happening more or less at night. But anyway, let's just kind of get into it. But so you have the main character, Evelyn, but she has everybody calls her Evie. She's a freelance artist. She does ceramics, sculptures with clay, kind of get the ghost vibes, but no Patrick Swayze. May he rest in peace, though. She works as a catering waiter for events with her friend Grace. Both of her parents, her father died when she was 14, and her mother died a few months ago from cancer. Now, at a catering event, her friend Grace gets grabs an extra goodie bag that they were giving to the guest, and she gives it to Evie. And one of the gifts in there is for a DNA test to trace your ancestry. So she puts her DNA in the folder or the envelope, and she mails it off. And then of course right away she finds a match. She gets an email or a message from her quote unquote second cousin Oliver that he wants to meet, for lunch. And her friend Grace, who really is the comic, like the comedy in the movie, her friend Grace, you got to have a good friend like Grace. But she said Tinder for unassuming organ donors. And she's like, don't go out, you know, Evie right away. It's like, I can't believe I found somebody. And, she's already assuming the best. And her friend's like, you don't know this person. They could be anybody, be careful. And so anyway, he has an English accent. Um, and so she goes on the dinner. Um, he's like, tell me everything about you. Um, And I'm just thinking to myself, you should be like, tell me more about you than the other way around. But, I guess though danger is relative to anybody at any given moment, I just think that she was like way too forthcoming. It's like you just met this man, you don't necessarily know if he's who he says he is, but he says he happens to be in town for family business. He gives her a family history lesson of her great grandmother in 1925, and it just so happens that there's a family wedding. And he said he'll pay for it. Everyone would love to meet her, the uncles, the aunts, and everything. They said they can't wait to meet her. But she also gives in too easily. I'm just like, dang, we just met. It's like I don't know. It's just like you know, it's too. I mean, but it moves really quickly. It's like they meet. They have the dinner. It's very like quick. This part is like very quick. So she agrees to go to this wedding. I guess she's like hesitant, but like for like only 5 seconds. I'm like, you just met this guy, but apparently, he's told all his family about her, and everybody's excited to meet her, and she's just like, okay, I don't know. So her friend tells her to take a photo of, when she gets there, she goes on the trip, she gets in the car off of the plane, to the location of where they're having the wedding. Her friend tells her to take a photo of the license plate that Oliver is driving. And right when she's about to, one of the maids outside like bumps into her, and they drop a bunch of wine glasses, and she ends up like just putting her phone into her pocket. And I'm like, this girl gonna die. I mean, even before I see the movie, and I was like, this girl's gonna die. And she also had given her like 3 rules to follow. Her friend Grace gives Evie 3 rules to follow. When she's out in this country where she don't know nobody. And she doesn't. She's not really following them. And it's yeah. It's bad when you see a movie and like they just don't act like they have any sense. Yeah, it's just anyway. That's just kind of how in the beginning. That's kind of how it is. It's just like this is a bad start. You don't know these people. Her friend gave her decent advice, and she's just not following it. Anyway, so after she apologizes to the maids for bumping into them, it's because she works in a business of customer service, or she treats the staff like people. She just doesn't give them orders and whatnot. There's kind of like a head butler who kind of just talks at them and not to them. And she doesn't, right away, she doesn't respect his tone because she treats people like people. He kind of just treats them like they're nothing. So she just doesn't respect that, which she shouldn't. But anyway, the owner of the mansion, the lord of the manor, Walter, introduces himself, and their introduction is like awkward, it's flirty, it's kind of like this is quote unquote the love interest, right off the bat. Um, and he's not her cousin, but it kind of in the beginning it's like, are they related? And then it kind of becomes clear that they're not related. Like he's not related to her. You know, And so after that, as soon as she gets into like this mansion, the butler is like, you can go anywhere but the library. And you already know, like, it's like, okay, da dum dum. Like, at some point, that's probably going to be a factor, right? It's like, when they say you can go anywhere but here, they're going to end up going in there. It's going to be important later. And this is probably like the first 20 minutes in. So apparently when she gets into the mansion, she gets her own maid, and they say everybody gets their own maid. And when she gets into the room that they show her, she notices that there's bars on the window. Like, this is a sign. And the maid is like, it's to keep away local shriek carnivores that impale you. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. It's like, yeah. And I'm just thinking to myself, are they trying to keep people in? Or are they trying to keep people out? But it's. And then there's also like a painting of the previous lady of the house who passed away recently. And in the beginning of the movie, they kind of show you what happens to that lady. Um, but with the bars, and she just kind of, she tells her, it's to protect against these things that can break in or come in. She's like, okay. She's like, I guess that makes sense. I'm like, not really. But okay. I feel like the movie does have like redeeming qualities, but and then later on in the movie, she meets Lucy and Victoria, who are like quote unquote her like cousins. Um, Lucy is nice. She wants like a sister, and so she kind of sees Evie as like a sister, someone that she can get along with. Victoria, touches her, ends up like touching her hair and says, "Oh, you're very pretty," and then like Evie just like knocks her hand away, and it's like, you don't know me, right? She just kind of like, they're kind of like looking her up and down, kind of, judging her, you know, um, and she's still trying to figure out, she keeps asking like, who's getting married. Um, there's this question again, like who's getting married. She still hasn't met the bride or the groom, and she's here for this wedding, but she still actually hasn't met who it is. Um, and as far as like, to me, like the scary parts, there aren't honestly, to me, in these scary parts, I mean, I guess it just depends on how, like, are you like a jumpy kind of person? I mean, there's like, hands reaching out in the darkness. There's creepy, shadowy figures. She runs at night. Which I don't get. If you're at a new place, she runs at nighttime. And then at one point there's like, I feel like someone's behind me. Well, I mean, you know, and there's this one scene where like a maid gets selected to clean the library, and that's all I got to say. It's like, I'll be cleaning my own house, thank you, sir. But okay, and and there's more stuff that happens. If I tell you any more, I would be spoiling the movie for you. So I would say that again, this is a play for me. I personally like the film. I mean, I think overall it's like a good thriller, mystery, I guess horror film, if that's what you want to. It's not really a horror film, but if that's what you want to call it, I think that's what they're kind of having it as. But it's really just like a thriller mystery. Um, I mean, it's just like the greatest vampire movie. No, I no, it's. I think it's good for what it is. I think it sticks. I mean, I think the story works, the script works for me. I think the actors do a good job. I mean, I think it's good for what it is. I don't think it's just the greatest movie I've ever seen. No, but I think it's a good watch. I think that you will enjoy it. Um, if you like this, please, click it, comment, subscribe below. Still trying to grow my channel. Thank you so much.